Tell me your dreams over bacon and eggs. We'll share a laugh and a story and even a wish on the breakfast dish. Bop, 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 bop.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the 14th episode of The Breakfast Dish. I didn't have to check what number it was once with you, Karen.
No, you didn't, because you are so wise. You were raised well. What an intelligent boy.
Yes, and because someone was looking at episode 13 earlier today, so he knew. Karen, what do we do on The Breakfast Dish?
Well, Griffin, you and I do The Breakfast Dish as a way to promote any art that is happening.
You're nodding your head like a mobster right now, like you're demanding my respect.
We also forgot to tell Val that we'll probably yak for a minute before we introduce you.
That's right.
Yeah, just talk amongst yourselves.
Okay. You and I created this podcast, The Breakfast Dish, as a spin-off from my Facebook series, Breakfast Series, which was me meeting people and talking about how great they are on Facebook. Now that we're in stay away from each other times, we are trying to promote any people that are doing any art that is digital or audio or physically distanced. So if you're doing any sort of art in Alberta that people can watch from the comfort of their cozy living room chair or not near very many people with a mask on, we want to know about it and we want to talk about it. That was a really long answer.
It was, but it was very detailed. And, Karen, why don't you introduce our guest? Who are we joined by? We've yacked enough.
Right now, joining us on this podcast is my dear friend, Val Lieske, who is the artistic director of Fire Exit Theatre. Val, good morning.
Good morning. First of all, let's clarify this is called The Breakfast Dish, and I'm still waiting for my dish of breakfast to show up. I assumed that someone would deliver, like, bacon and eggs or something.
I mean, yeah, no, it's in the mail, so if it's not there, it's lost in the mail. We did send it.
And also, I watched your season announcement launch, and you have a sister-in-law that's making pie, and you had an entire pie on your table the other night. Finish that.
I'm not going to lie. I may have had a little pie for breakfast. You called it. I may have had some pie.
Yeah, good. Excellent.
Hey, no judgment.
That's the best kind of breakfast food I can think of. Yeah, of course.
Eat the dessert first, because what if you die before you can have the dessert?
Gosh.
Dessert's most important.
Yeah.
What I will say is that neither of my parents ever said that to me. They never said,
Right?
Eat the dessert first. I don't know where they're bringing this up right now when it's convenient for them.
Yeah.
Now, let me just ask this. I'm pretty sure that Val Lieske has joined you on the Facebook breakfast series. Am I right about that?
I don't think we've had an in-person breakfast.
No, we have not.
no.
Which I've tried not to hold personally against you because I feel like you are a good person at the core. But no, I have never been invited to have breakfast with you.
Wait, you don't have to be invited. Just so you know, when we get back to stay near to each other times, the before times,
Stay close to one another.
and I can have a lot of in-person breakfasts again, it's not about me inviting you. It's about, are we having a meeting? Good. Let's do it over breakfast. Are you in town? I haven't seen you. Let's have breakfast. You want to hang out and play Scrabble? Yeah, let's have breakfast. I just want to do everything over breakfast.
We were like practically neighbors for like 17 years and no breakfast.
I'm not going to make it for you.
Oh, that's how that goes. Okay. Have someone else
No,
make
we
it.
got to go to Denny's, honey.
I've just realized the trope that we've set up. Both of them sound dangerous. Stay away from each other and stay close to one another. Both of them sound like we're being chased by velociraptors.
It's complicated.
Yeah.
I hope there's a point in this podcast where we get to stop talking about that. Like, this podcast just exists to meet people and not just because it's COVID times.
I mean, that was the plan. Little peek behind the microphone on our mandate. That was kind of the plan. Is once the unprecedented times become a little bit more precedented, or I don't know what the opposite of that is. We are just going to talk to creators. Am I right about that?
I like that.
And speaking of creatives, Val Lieske, how many years has Fire Exit been around?
We are going into season 19. Although I don't know if some people are saying like 18.2, like if we're not counting last year or this year. I don't know.
Yeah, but you announced as 19 coming
We
up.
did.
Right.
We did. We're going to try, man. We're going to try. You know, Arts Commons has said that they're going to try to open their doors by the end of November to renters. That's been our home for the entire 19 years we've been in the Engineered Air Theatre space there. We are making plans and we are holding them loosely.
I love that phrase. I heard you say that at your season launch.
Yes.
Making severe plans and holding them with a
Yes.
Mickey Mouse grip.
We are printing things, but really, who knows?
I truly believe that's what kind of has to be done. You kind of just have to keep... I mean, it's kind of what theater is all the time. You have to keep throwing spaghetti at the wall, and when it sticks, you're good to go.
Yeah.
There's all the companies up in Edmonton doing shows right now. There's Citadel Theater's Horizon Stage, Azimuth Theater's All That Binds Us. People are just trying to do things, and you kind of have to.
Yeah.
Somebody asked me the other day, what do you consider, like, when somebody says living a creative life? And I think I always have a different answer for that. But I think, if nothing else, I figured out that it's about being adaptive. Like, that's, if nothing else, we've been creative, our industry, over the last few years.
I agree.
It also means Karen starting 3 podcasts.
I'll be honest. I wish that I have been more creative the last sort of 5 months. I'm embarrassed. Can this be confessional? Just between you and me?
Yeah.
I'll leave. I'll get out of here.
If you could just sort of mute your mic right now, or I'm actually in like the playwriting mentorship program with Alberta Playwrights Network. And my mentor is Natalie Meisner, and I am trying to write a play. I have been on page like 27 for about 5 months. It's embarrassing. She's so lovely. She keeps emailing me, so just checking in, how you doing? I'm like, I can't do it. I don't know.
It's not embarrassing. Sure, there's a lot of people being creative, for sure. But what I meant is we're being creative in the sense that we're learning to adapt. And that doesn't mean that we're being creative and all of a sudden, writing amazing plays for live theater online or whatever. It just means that we're adapting to a new normal. That's, to me, being a creative person.
Right, you meant like creative problem solving, like critical thinking.
Yeah, that's exactly what I meant.
Yeah.
Creative problem solving. So we get time to just sit for 5 minutes or months and grieve the loss of the things, right? So you're creative if you learned how to cook, Karen Johnson Diamond.
I did. I made one beer bread during my time. Right?
I too discovered beer bread.
Ooh.
When there was no yeast to be
I don't even
found.
like beer.
I know, me neither, but there was no yeast, so I made beer bread.
Right, because everyone's trying to make bread.
Right.
Okay, breakfast dish tip. Once in a while, we actually have a breakfast cooking recipe tip.
Yeah, every 7 episodes.
You can make beer bread and you don't need yeast.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about, Val, let's talk about when you did get creative in making the 19th season of Fire Exit Theater. So, do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Sure. Well, like I said, we're gonna give it a go. So we're gonna try to do a little mini season, do 3 shows between the months of January and sort of May. Traditionally, we do sort of 4 shows. We usually launch the season with a guest artist who we bring from wherever, which probably not going to happen.
Probably not going to happen.
Certainly not an American. We're not letting them come here forever now. Although I have some American friends who are, as we speak, building a tunnel sort of underneath.
That's
They're
good.
trying to get to me.
Trying to get to me.
Yes.
In my basement.
I'm like, welcome.
I love the idea of a tunnel to get to you. not Calgary.
They're
not
Coming
Canada,
directly to me.
my house.
Right to me. I'm getting some bunk beds. I'm going to be hosting. Many Americans will be staying. Yes, so we're not doing that. We usually do a big season launch party. There's like 200 of us. We sit and eat amazing barbecue from Bubba Q's, and we see scenes from the season ahead. We have auction, all the hoo-ha. This was a little less who or ha. So what we did do, though, is I did have 10 host homes. So I had some people who felt comfortable having, 10 or 12 people in their homes, maybe their own families. So they hosted from their home. We had pork ribs delivered to them.
That's really smart.
Oh, yeah, it was fantastic. And I delivered... Oh my gosh, it was great. So I had little couriers that went out and sent the mac and cheese and the potatoes and all the stuff. And I delivered little host bags that had like really nice napkins and plates and cutlery and a host gift and a door prize and all that. So delivered that. And so then they could just stream it. And then we just made the link available to anyone, obviously, that could just log on and just want to watch us from the comfort, as Karen said, of my house. I had a few people here, and yeah, we launched the season. We didn't do all of the auction items, obviously, but we just asked people to please just continue to support. And then, as I said, we're going to start our first show of the season will happen in January. So first of all, we had to have a show that was super flexible because the first show was the most precarious. Is the world still going to be on fire? Are we going to be
hugging and kissing?
Will be hugging and kissing? We don't know. So it had to be a small show. Honestly, I say this with great humility, much to my chagrin. I will be performing. And I was also inspired by seeing Jamie Dunstan do her one-person show last year.
I was just going to talk about that. Yeah.
Right. And so I'm like, I have a show that I wrote about watching my father die of cancer. It sounds I think it's pretty funny. It was just a gift to my family. I was going to do it one time. I journaled while he was dying, and I just wanted to be a gift to my family. I'm going to do it one time. I've done it many, many times, although now I haven't done it for over a decade. And my sweet 92-year-old mother asks me every 6 months or so, when are you doing that show again? And I'm like, never. Furthermore, she thinks I'm writing her a show, which I'm like, no, you're getting like a haiku, like some non-rhyming couplets, maybe. That's all you're getting.
You're going to get a 16-bar rap verse.
Yeah, that's all. That's all I got.
Val's relationship with her mom, it's like Mama Ruth. She's like, it's this
Mama
iconic
Ruth.
woman.
Yes. So I'm really doing this show. It's called Past Tense. It's a gift to my mom, which I didn't tell her I was doing it. So she wasn't actually at my home for the host. I sent her somewhere else. So the first time she heard about it was actually on Friday night. Oh. So yes, I'm going to start the season with that because I think it's a story about grieving, which we're all doing. And it's a story about hope, which we all need.
I love personal plays like that. And I also totally understand that, sometimes they're written for people and only those people get to see them. Like I have a friend in Edmonton who proposed to his now wife by writing her like a 45-minute play and performing it in their backyard. And I'm like, oh, but I'm also like, I want to see that. Like I want to see that. That's Sterling and Betty material right there.
I have seen Past Tense, which is the name of this play that you wrote about your father's passing. I have seen it. And if you don't know Val Lieske, her humor, her dry wit, it is a beautiful, hilarious play. And if honestly, there's no humor like a Val Lieske humor. So trust me when I say, please go see this play.
I also really want to commend you for your ideas for the actual launch, like having host homes, because that's what you hear the most people missing in this time right now is the sense of is the ritual of gathering, like people gathering together.
Yeah. That ability to even just eat your brisket with 10 other people. It's just different than eating brisket alone.
Even just have brisket. I love it.
Right? Right. So, yeah, it worked really well. Our second show of the season, we're going to try to remount the show that was supposed to end our season last year. It's called This Random World by Stephen Dietz. Griffin's supposed to be in it. He actually was in the show, but
I was really looking forward to it.
We're going to try. And we will hopefully we'll end the season with a show called Mary Jane by Amy Hertz, directed by Barrett Heilman. It's a 5-woman show, and it's about a woman who has a severely disabled son who we actually never meet. It's also a show that is about grief, but about hope, which is sort of what I think this whole year is about. And we're hoping at some point in the season as well, we also have a Scripts on Fire new play competition that traditionally the deadline for submissions is the end of December, but we bumped it up this year because so many people had time at home to write. So it was actually September the 15th, and we ended up getting 18 submissions, which was fantastic from all across Canada. So again, our hope is just to promote more Canadian content. God bless America. We've done all your shows. Yeah. We would love to have a little more Canadian content. So
once you finish the tunnel, we can talk. But until then.
Right.
The Sacrament, which I saw last season, was a
winner
of last year's Scripts on Fire, right?
Yeah. So we've actually produced 3, which is not necessarily obviously it's an end goal, but not every show will necessarily get produced by us. But we've had 3 shows that have won and gone on to be a part of our season to give sort of inaugural productions to. So I have 3 jury members who are busily reading scripts right now. We hope to be able to announce certainly by mid-October. And then again, depending on where the playwright is from, ideally we bring them here. We do a workshop of their piece. We hire some professional actors to come, get a little dramaturgy, do that. And then we host a staged read of that. So hopefully we'll see where that will happen probably next year sometime. But yeah, that's going to be our season in theory.
In theory.
I'm just backing up because your mom used to make pies that would be part of your season launches. Last night,
Correct.
or Friday night, your sister-in-law made a pie that you were auctioning off-ish, right? How much did that one pie go for? Do you know, like the original bids?
The original. So it was interesting because then we got lots of people that wanted their own special order of pie. So they were requesting cherry pie and peach pie, as well as the apple. So I think we're going to be around $1,500 or so for all the pie situation.
The pie situation.
So my question was, how much should I donate in order to get a cherry pie?
Oh, yeah, we can work something out.
Is there actually, like, this is what I'm asking.
Oh, yeah, we'll deliver it.
Is Anne going, shut up, Val, because I don't want to make any more pies?
She's super happy. She was recently let go from her job at a school, so she has a lot of time to make pie. So she's like, as many pies as you need. Yes, we had to pass the legacy on, my dear mother. Now, the apple pie was her recipe, and it was spectacular. And yeah, she's just a good pie maker in and of herself. So although my mom's pies have brought in thousands and thousands of dollars over the year, because every year I'm like, oh my gosh, she's still alive. This is probably her last pie. Like, she's going to be dead like soon.
And that's how you pitch it. That's it. And this is your last. This is your last chance.
Is it wise for me to say that people could go to fireexit.ca and make just a nice donation and possibly request a pie?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you put that in the donation. You put in the comments as to what kind of pie you want. We will get you that pie.
Talk to me about your event that I believe is happening next Monday, October 5th.
That is correct. Here's the thing. Probably 9 or 10 years ago, I had the chance to go to New York City, and I met the woman who started a thing called the Broadway Blessing, and it has been around for over 20 years. It's a huge deal. They do it at this massive church, and it's a way for them to just launch the theater season on Broadway, and all of the actors, the choreographers, the directors, the crew, they come to this, and they have amazing performances and speakers that just say, hey, we just want you to be safe and well and financially successful and creative. Off you go into the year. And I remember sitting there listening to her, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't wait for someone to start that in Calgary because I'm totally going to go. So 10 years later, that sort of never happened. So I'm like, well, I guess I'll do that. So I had nothing else to do.
I guess I'll do that.
Guess I'll do that.
That's Val's mandate. Well, I guess I'll do that.
Yes, I will. Someone had to. Yeah, so a few years back, we partnered with the Lantern Church down in Inglewood, which is a great venue for arts, for Fringe Festival and movie festivals and so forth. And we started this thing just called the Blessing of the Artist, which again, we try to do the first Monday of October. And it's just a way, usually it's a way to sort of support what's going to happen this year. So we'll often show scenes of shows. So last year we had like Ellie Holt came and she actually did a scene from The Pink Unicorn. We had Vertigo come and do a scene from a show they were going to do. So we'll often sort of celebrate what's coming up. This year, it's a little deserty, a little drier, not a lot. So I invited a bunch of artists to come and perform something around tension. What is the tension that we are holding between fear and hope? How are we navigating that? So we have people like Tanaj Williams and Kiston Blair, who's one of my favorite choreographers. So we have dance and poetry and theater. It'll be it's going to be in person. If you can come, we can put 100 people in there safely with masks, all that jazz. We usually have pie after. Again, pie is a big part of my life. I don't know if you know that, but pie is part of the blessing, which I don't think we can do. We usually have pie downstairs. A life of pie.
You can do pie. You just have to get the individual ones.
It's true.
You just have to make everyone an individual tart pie.
Yes. So we're figuring out if we can do that.
I guess I'll do that, says Val.
I guess. All right. Right. So it's just a coming together. It'll be a short evening of just saying, hey, whether I'm representing Fire Exit or whoever, to just say, look, we support you. We want you to be healthy. We want you to be safe. And we want you to be successful and creative. And so I'm a big fan of just blessing people and saying, man, whatever your view of God is, or just be blessed, right?
It feels like one theater company's gigantic break a leg
Yeah.
to the entire community. And Stafford Arima said, we are all going to come back, but when we come back, we're coming back as a community. We're not all one at a time going to fight each other for the whatever. We're coming back as a community. And so what you're talking about here with this blessing and like, I just want to help you. My company just wants you to do well. We just want you to succeed, leads me to this amazing thing Fire Exit is doing now that I love. Talk to us about tangible hope.
Yeah. So in the midst of my unproductivity, I'm sitting around in my sweatpants, eating cheesy Doritos and watching Netflix.
Unprecedented unproductivity.
That's my plan for the day. I'm currently in sweatpants.
Attaboy. I put pants on for you, for the podcast.
Thank you.
I didn't know this was a pants-free podcast. Or I would have taken that option. Anywho. Yes. So sitting here in my house for many, many months, and I've actually been really quiet on social media. Although I've been like the rest of you scrolling for 12 hours a day and have just heard the unbelievable angst, I don't even know a better word, of our arts community. I know they're afraid. I know they're uncertain. Their serve is going to run out. Then what? And that breaks my heart. I have to believe that once we get into a room together and see each other face to face, it's going to somehow be better. But right now, it's just a lot of stuff on social media. And I get it. People are afraid and afraid for their livelihoods and their friends and just getting groceries on the table and all of that. And so I don't know if you know this about me, but I'm a doer.
Really?
Yeah, I'm a doer.
I guess I'll do it.
I guess I'll do that.
Somebody has to do it. Gosh, believe you me. Wish I was just a thinker. And I started talking to some other artistic friends who were kind of feeling the same way of like, is there something we can actually do? And so a few of us gathered in my backyard a month or so ago and said, number one, how do we find out what the actual needs of our community are? And those needs are going to change from today to 6 months from now. It could be actually, I actually need groceries. I need a drive to my COVID test. I had a friend who's working on doing her first album, and she's like, I just need a little bit of gear that I can't afford, and where can I get that from? I don't know, stuff like that. So I'm like, how can we at the very least be a bit of a community where people can at least, first of all, if they have something they're willing to give, maybe it's time, maybe it's money, maybe it's gear, maybe I don't know. And for people that I hope will feel comfortable enough asking for help to say, I need this. And they can private message me. We have a Facebook page just called Tangible Hope. I don't know if you also know this about me. My middle name is Hope. Like actually.
Is it not tattooed on your skin somewhere as well?
It is. The words fierce hope, which Valerie means strong or fierce, and my middle name is Hope. So I don't need just regular hope. Like I need like the fierce kind because I'm prone to hopelessness, shockingly. And so if we, like, I don't know, if we don't have that, I don't actually know what else matters. If you actually don't have a little bit of hope, because hope should actually motivate you to action. Like I can sit at home and feel hopeful, but that's where that tangible word comes in of like, okay, we're looking at things like even could we host, maybe it's virtual or maybe it's social distance. Can we host some seminars? People are going to have to know maybe how to write a resume. Well, I got someone who can help with that. I have a therapist who's like, I'd love to sit with artists and talk about some of the trauma and depression that they've experienced over the last few months. I'm sure I could find someone who would do discounted headshots. We're going to need new headshots because we're all like 15 pounds heavier. I'm just putting it out there.
Are we ever?
So maybe in 4 months, we all need new headshots. I don't actually know what all the needs are. So right now we're in the gathering stage of saying, like, what do you actually need? And if I can't do it, I'm going to try to find someone who can. Within our little group, we have a lot of resources. We know a lot of people. We're connected to organizations that I can find you a bag of groceries. I can find you a bus pass. I can find you a counselor. We're going to do our best to just be a tangible support to this community. And I don't actually know what that looks like yet.
And how much do you charge for this service, Val?
That would be $0.
$0.
Know.
See what I mean? So, for example, last Wednesday, Lunchbox Theatre, who is vacating their space for their year off, needed to get the heck out of their space. Who showed up to move all that stuff there, Val?
Yeah. Me and 5 of my friends showed up to take apart their risers and lift heavy things onto the back of the U-Haul.
And they had 3 other volunteers, and that's it. But that's the kind of stuff that the theater community doesn't know is happening right now, is that there's a Val Lieske going, I'll come empty your storage space. What do you need? I'm a doer. I guess I'll do that.
And I will also say it is especially in this day and age, it's unfortunately a big ask for people to ask for help. You know what I mean? Like that is a hard thing for people to do. That's a hard thing for me to do. So I think the name is really spot on.
And I think that's been a part of Fire Exit from the beginning, I hope. Like, I think I am certainly not the most creative, the most talented. When I look at my community and go, I came to this late in the game. I didn't go back to university until I was in my 30s, like late 30s, to get my BA in theater, right? But I'm like, being a theater company, yes, I want to produce really thoughtful, excellent theater. And I hire people that are certainly more talented and smarter than me to do that. And I get some of the credit, which is cool. But really being part of this, I want to be a part of this community. And that doesn't just mean I get to like get on the stage and produce stuff. I want to bless people. I want to show up and move heavy things. I want to drive you to your COVID test. I want the community of Calgary to know that we are for you. We love what you're doing. I can't go to every show every season, although I try.
You do.
But I love this community of weirdos that we're a part of. Weird, thoughtful, broken, amazing people that are really hurting right now. And so this is just one more way. I love that. I love creating stuff too, but man, do I love just showing up with my steel toes and just helping for as long as I can. I'm a middle-aged woman. Honestly, this body's not going to last forever. Let's be clear.
I love that philosophy in that community has almost become almost like a buzzword, right? Where community might mean to some people just like a group of people rather than like exploring the actual like interconnected elements of what the word community means. You know what I mean? It's not just a Calgary gathering, it's a Calgary community.
And I think some of this did start for me when for many, many years I worked at a really, really large church. And so I had artists there and I had actors that, you know, when they got on the stage to do a short video or dramatic piece live, literally 5,000 to 7,000 people would see them on a weekend, like a giant. Okay. And not to mention the number of people streaming. And I remember I would start looking at these actors in particular and say, this is actually really horrible for your ego, getting this much attention. So the way that we're going to counteract that is a few times a year, we're going to do what we call backstage events. And I would just contact companies and say, how can we help? I have 10 people. We have 4 hours. So we have painted dance studios. We have taken out recycling. We helped Green Fools, set up for their Halloween thing one year. Because that's actually what it means to be an artist in this community. Not just showing up for the glamour and the applause that you get, but actually rolling up your sleeves and saying, how can I help other artists? So that's kind of where it birthed from. And now that lives on, hopefully through my company and other groups. So if you want to be a part of that, if you want to actually be a part of hey, I have this, I have some time, I have some skill, I have a special whatever, love that. If you have a need, please, I hope that people will feel comfortable either posting it on the Facebook page or private messaging me directly, and we'll see if we can help.
So let's get into the specifics of that a little bit. It's Tangible Hope on Facebook.
Yes.
So they can post on that page. They direct message that page and you.
Mm-hmm. Yes, all those things. Or you can just email me, just val@fireexit.ca is fine too. And like I said, if I don't have the thing that you need, I will try to find the person who has the thing that you need.
Those forms of contact are both for people in need, but also those who have something to offer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. That's something I kind of learned from you, Karen, where if someone's going through a tough time, you go, hey, I know you have a lot of people offering to help you right now, but if you need like toilet paper or like somebody to pick up your medication, I can be that person for you.
Right.
The toilet paper one is your Oma, my mother, who said when somebody passes away, everybody's like, what can I do for you? If you need anything, and they mean it. They absolutely mean it. But in grief, we're in a place where we can't think of what we could possibly ask for. So Mom says, when you are grieving and you are home and you are lost and you are overwhelmed and you run out of toilet paper, The last thing you want to do is go out to Safeway and buy toilet paper. I will seriously go buy you toilet paper. So that, I feel like, is the tangible hope mandate. We will buy you toilet paper.
100%. 100%.
If nothing else, boy, oh boy.
Tangible toilet paper hope.
Oh, no.
It's true what Griffin said. Lots of people just won't ask. Here's a great story, just a quick one. Caitlin Ferguson, who was formerly the technical director at Lunchbox Theatre, coming all the way back to Lunchbox Theatre. Friends of mine and I did a co-op show. And of course, we needed some set pieces, and we were just co-oping the show, so we had nothing. So we went to Caitlin and said, we need a bunch of things for our set. Can we rent them from you, from Lunchbox? And she said, no, just use them. They're just like actors. They'd rather be on the stage than sitting in a storeroom, right?
Right.
So we do want to be useful. And that's the other thing. I know I'm going on a total tangent here right now, but
No, go. You're on a roll. Do it.
it's about taking care of others. And somebody, who was I talking to the other day about that idea of improv, just taking care of others and making your partners look good.
Right, yes.
And if that means you need a nice blazer for your Dairy Queen interview, you just ask Val.
I have them. Yes, I agree with like what Stafford said of like, we are all going to fail together or succeed together. When one company in Calgary sort of rises up and starts opening the door, hopefully it'll open the door for other people, and hopefully audiences will feel comfortable coming back. And like, we're all in this together. I want us all to come back. Right? Right? I want there to be bounty for all of us, right?
I will also just say, if anybody has to work at Dairy Queen, my friend Cameron Corbett worked at Dairy Queen for about 6 years, and he turned down other work, and he really liked it there. If that ever happens, I'm just saying, and, you know, if you accidentally make a blizzard wrong, you can put it in a fridge and eat it at the end of the day. That's a quick tip if you ever have to work at Dairy Queen. You are also the Associate Director of Theatre at Ambrose University. So you're doing all this stuff and also working at Ambrose.
Correct. Yes. So actually, Ambrose is one of the only post-secondaries that we are meeting in person for most of our classes right now. Obviously, we have all the hoo-ha, all the masks, all the distancing. Every piece of soft furniture has been removed. Lots of cleaning. Obviously, there's some things we can't do. We're still not really. We have a choir that can't sing, and we can't teach sort of vocal lessons in person yet. But we're trying. We're moving ahead. We're going into like the second month. So far, so good.
And in a year when my alma mater theater program shut down, yours was in its second year of being a new one.
Yeah, it's disheartening. And again, it's the value that we're placing on arts, on creativity. And yeah, they're hard conversations that I have, not so much with the students, but with the parents, trying to justify, hey, yeah, maybe this is something your kid was put on this planet to do. And wouldn't you rather that they do that as opposed to be successful, which their definition of success is that they can buy a house in Calgary? I'm like, what if they rent for the rest of their life and actually do what they were put on the planet to do?
I love renting. You don't have to listen, give it to your landlord to fix. You don't have to pay a mortgage.
Right.
Griffin has a really great landlord.
I have a really great landlord. He'll never listen to this, so his name's Stan. I call him Stan Lord. He's the man.
That's awesome.
Well, we are getting close to our wrap-up time. Thank you very, very, very much for joining us.
Thank you.
But before we go, how about you run us through the social medias for everything? Tangible Hope, Fire Exit, Ambrose. Can you do it?
I don't just Google it. Honestly, this seems like a lot of work.
Get off my back.
You can find Fire Exit obviously on Facebook and on Instagram and tweeting. I'm not TikToking. I don't even know what that is. There's only so much I can do.
I think, let me take a page out of Val and say, I guess I'll do it.
Oh.
I made the social media post today for this episode. So Fire Exit Theater is on Twitter at Fire Exit Theater, and Ambrose University is on Twitter at Ambrose_Uni.
We have our own, which is Ambrose Arts.
Oh no, I tagged the wrong one.
Oh, for heaven's sakes.
Oh, for heaven's sakes.
Go to Ambrose Arts. We have our own Facebook page, our own Instagram, and Twitter as well. So Ambrose Arts includes theater, music, and dance. So that's where we're posting stuff on there. And you're going to come to the Blessing of the Artists on Monday, October the 5th. Bring your mask, 7 p.m., the Lantern Church.
And what about you, Val? Do you have any personal socials you want to plug?
Not really. I'm on Facebook.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, search me up. Just Google it.
My mother's also on Facebook, Mama Ruth, 92. I have to go on every once in a while and delete some friends. I'm like, oh no, you should not be following that grandson. That's how I usually bring her on stage and be like, honestly, look at her. Like, honestly, COVID won't kill her. Like, I've taken her out. I've taken her to Dairy Queen and I'm like, look, a germy French fry on the floor. You should eat that. Nothing. She doesn't have a sniffle, right? Nope. She's good.
Hey, kid, cough in her mouth.
Right?
And speaking of supporting our community and trying to kill Val's mother, I'd like to thank our funders, which is the Calgary Arts Development Authority, the Rozsa Foundation, and the Calgary Foundation. The intro music you just heard and the outro music you're about to hear is by Alexandra Kalman, and all graphic design has been done by Morgan Ermter. Okay, so the way that we like to end episodes is Karen will ask you a kind of made-up breakfast-related theme question. As she is a professional improviser, here we go, 3, 2, 1.
6 different people ask you to make them breakfast through Tangible Hope. What 6 meals do you make? Go, 1.
Why?
6 breakfast meals?
Yeah.
Oh, eggs that are sunny side up. I make really good crepes. I'm a fan of bacon. I also like frosted mini wheats, the brown sugar kind. So I can make those with whole milk, like none of that 1% nonsense. Yeah, like directly from the cow. I also like pie for breakfast.
This is what I'm saying, people. She will actually, if you call her and say, I'm destitute, can't afford groceries, I just need some bacon. Tangible Hope will make you bacon. I'm not kidding about that.
I just need some pie. Karen, what else is going on this week?
Let me tell you, Griffin, that Ghost River Theatre has their sensory box performance. There's 1 weekend left, October 1st to 3rd. You can either go in person to the West Village Theatre or you can watch it online on Vimeo. It's a pay-what-you-can performance. But the exciting thing is you buy your ticket, and whether you're going to see it in person or at home, you go to West Village and you pick up a box of items, sensory items. And then during the performance, the amazing Mike Tan will guide you through a sensory experience. It's co-written by Christopher Duthie and Eric Rose. You can get tickets for that at ghostrivertheatre.com or find more information about it. Also, you can enjoy Azimuth Theatre. You mentioned these guys already, Griff. In Edmonton, they are also doing a live performance or watch at home. Both these performances, you got to be, they're only going to let so many people in and they're going to wear masks. But Azimuth Theatre is doing All That Binds Us with a cast of people like you're never going to see this much talent together on stage again.
And one of my old classmates, Muckermy Ash.
Yep.
Yay.
7:30 p.m. Tuesdays to Saturdays, and it happens at the Westbury Theatre. Go to fringetheatre.ca. Again, it's a pay-what-you-will performance.
I got the chance to listen to Griffin Cork on his Jupiter podcast, written by my dear friend Krista Marucci. It was brilliant. I loved it.
Krista really nailed the noir style.
I haven't listened to it yet.
You haven't?
What kind of mother are you?
What kind of mother are you? Val's a better mom than you've ever been.
Those Jupiter podcasts are site-specific, so it's way more fun if you listen to them at the place.
That's fair. That's fair. It's brilliant, though. It's great.
Val, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for providing so many ways that we could endanger your mother's life. And you let me know when that American tunnel is done. How about if this ever happens, this particular podcast episode will be used in a court of law. So just kidding, Trump. Okay, bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
This has been The Breakfast Dish.